Top 5 reasons to live in Japan. Number 3. Child abuse. Child abuse is perhaps one of the biggest problems in Japan. As I mentioned earlier, Yumiko Hosaka was abused by her 4 adult children. What I didn't say was that these 4 adults abused and killed Yumiko's grandson, now Hosaka, stuffed this 6-year-old boy in a suitcase, and together, the 4 siblings dumped the boy's body 800 meters away in a grassy area. Here are some other examples.
小学生の息子の首を絞めて殺そうとしたとして41歳の母親が逮捕されました。焼津市に住む41歳の無職の女は昨日午後11時ごろ、自宅で10歳の息子の首をタオルで絞め殺害しようとした殺人未遂の疑いで現行犯逮捕されました。警察によると、女は逮捕時、タオルを首にかけたが締めてはいないなどと話していたということです。息子に怪我はありませんでした。息子は警察に対し、勉強のことで母親に叱られた際、前の父親のところに帰りたいと言ったところ、一緒に死ぬなどと言われ、首を絞められたと説明しているということです。
Yua Funato. Yua Funato was a 5-year-old girl who died on March 2, 2018, in Meguro Ward, Tokyo. She was a victim of extreme child abuse at the hands of her mother, Yuri Funato, and her mother's boyfriend. Yua was reportedly subjected to prolonged physical abuse, such as being beaten with a bat and starved, as well as emotional abuse. Despite reports of Yua's abuse being made to child welfare authorities, she was not removed from her home. Warning: the next video is extremely violent and horrifying. Close your eyes for the next 42 seconds if you are easily disturbed. This video is courtesy of @ChildAbuseJapan on Twitter. This is a video of a mother's boyfriend. The male is extremely violent to the child for no reason whatsoever. The older child doesn't care or notice. The children are trained not to care. And the violent offender can do whatever he or she wants. This video was not enough to warrant removing the children from the mother's custody or arresting the male for horrific child abuse. One malicious offense is not enough. Mia Kurihara. Mia Kurihara was a 10-year-old girl who died on January 24, 2019, in Noda City, Chiba Prefecture. She was a victim of child abuse at the hands of her father, Yuichiro Kurihara, and stepmother, Nagisa Kurihara. Mia was reportedly subjected to severe physical abuse, such as being beaten and deprived of food and water, as well as emotional abuse. Once again, despite reports of Mia's abuse being made to child welfare authorities and school officials, she was not removed from her home. It wasn't until July 15, 2023, that Japanese television, for the first time in history, recognized that, on top of keeping an estranged parent from seeing their child, abandoning said child is child abuse. Specifically this combination. As if individually, they don't constitute as child abuse. Is this not ridiculous?
父親に合わせない上に子供をほったらかしにするなんて。あなたのやってることは虐待よ。
Schools in Japan are not exempt from child abuse. Schools force children to keep their hair in a certain way, straighten their hair, and dye their black just to conform to societal norms. Like the police, schools largely ignore bullying, and children of primary school age have been known to commit suicide as a result. Just this year, in 2023, 5 high school girls used cigarettes to burn another classmate. Another shocking thing about child abuse in Japan is child exploitation. Girls especially, and as young as 8 years old, are recruited for glamour photography and videos. These children wear skimpy clothes and swimsuits and pose suggestively, get paid a lot of money, and are subject to harassment from men in their 40s and 50s. This is the child version of the Japanese glamour and adult video idol phenomenon. The law does not criminalize virtual child abuse materials, like manga, and does not penalize the viewing of child sexual abuse material. Child prostitution is also a major concern. There are many agencies that recruit junior high school age girls as tour guides. They are not warned ahead of time that they will be involved in prostitution, but are instead instructed to act as guides or walking companions to customers. Police have been known to crack down on teen prostitution in Akihabara before the Tokyo Olympics of 2021. The Japanese government has also been criticized for allowing many cases concerning child sexual exploitation to be suspended and for allowing suspects not to be indicted. In addition, explicit provisions criminalizing the sexual exploitation of children in travel and tourism do not exist. In 2014, the police investigated 1,828 cases of child pornography and identified 746 child victims. In 2015, it reported 1,938 investigations involving 1,483 offenders and 905 child victims, 16% of whom were primary school age and younger. In 2016, there were 2,097 cases involving 1,313 child victims. These are all verifiable facts. You may also have heard that the current Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, is thinking about updating the age of consent law in Japan. Currently, the age of consent is 13. Anywhere else in the world, this would be considered criminal. Top 5 reasons to live in Japan. Number 2. Child abduction.
You'll likely find this crazy, but in Japan, it's legal to kidnap children. Yes, legal.
Kidnapping your own child is not a crime in Japan. Neither is kidnapping your own child from a foreign country. One parent can suddenly decide to leave the marriage and take all possessions from the household. Children are, by law, considered possessions. Although, technically, children do have rights, no one enforces them. This law is 120 years old and dates back to the Meiji era. Remember this scene? Japanese television bastardized reality by making the mother's abduction of the child seem trivial. Not only that, but the program makes it look like the conversation is polite and gentle. Reality is more harsh.
離れて暮らすって言ってたのに全然少しじゃない。
ごめんね、ケンちゃん。パパとママね、もう一緒に暮らせないの。離婚することになったよ。ケンちゃんはママと一緒に暮らそう。
That rubbish was not reality. This is reality.
Yes, hello? Hello? Ah, hello, Amy. どうしたの？ママが何？ね、ちょっと待って、聞こえない。叩いたの？
違う。ママがね、パパと一緒に話しちゃダメって言うから、ずっといつも泣いて。私、もう会いたいってなっちゃって、なんかイライラが止まらなくなっちゃうの。
それわかる。
Has Amelia seen her daddy since 2018? Hell no. Did the courts consider Amelia's wishes? Hell no. Has the mother been investigated for child abuse? You guessed it. Hell no. You may have heard of the French father, Vincent Fichot. He started a hunger strike in front of the Tokyo Olympic Stadium in July of 2021. His children were abducted by his wife in 2018. He has not seen his children since. As a result of the hunger strike, the French president issued an arrest warrant for Vincent's wife. Japan has not responded to this issue. Scott McIntyre is another father who came home to find his children abducted. He was arrested for trespassing when trying to confront his in-laws about the whereabouts of his children. The police refused to locate his children. Catherine Henderson is another parent who came home to find her children abducted. She has been on Australia's The Foreign Correspondent and 60 Minutes trying to raise this issue to the world. What is worse, in March of 2018, the Japanese government sponsored a seminar in Paris teaching Japanese parents how to circumvent the Hague Convention and abduct their own children to Japan without fear of the Japanese government abiding by the Hague Convention. Over 400 U.S. citizens and more than 82 Australian citizens are registered as abducted children as of March 2023 in Japan. The only country taking an active role in this issue is Australia. However, Australia is not prioritizing this issue with Japan.
So why won't Australia stand up to Japan?
Did you raise this issue with Mr. Kishida?
And unless the whole world stands up in support for this to change, child abduction in Japan will never end.
Waiting for you, waiting for you. I promise I got you. Waiting for you, waiting for you. Oh, oh, I promise I got you. Waiting for you, waiting for you. I promise I got you.